A cloud of dust and debris bursts forth in the dim stone chamber. The top-tier platinum rank adventurers are hailed as the mightiest, yet they are insignificant. A massive dragon bellows, asserting that mere mortals are no match for the Dragon Clan. The young swordsman grimly acknowledges their utter helplessness against the dragon's power. A man in a suit appears, apologizing for not noticing the other guests. The confused swordsman stumbles back, demanding to know the identity of this stranger. An unseen adventure unfolds, questioning the newcomer's strange and abrupt arrival. The dragon's gaze sharpens, pondering the origin of this unexpected individual. The beast readies a fiery attack, instructing the humans to recognize their place. The suited man clutches his katana sheath, his knuckles turning pale with strain. A single lightning-fast slash slices through the air with tremendous force. The group of adventurers stands in stunned silence, unable to grasp the spectacle. The dragon's severed head gurgles as the man dismisses it as absurd. Now wielding a bat, the man wonders what his opponent is up to. With his back turned, he swings as the dragon's body crumples. The young swordsman beams in amazement while the witch stares in shock. The remaining heroes observe as the suited man stands amidst the destruction. The scene shifts to a contemporary multi-story office building in the city. This is the sales division of the Bukansha Shobu publishing house. A man's fingers fly over the keyboard, the clicking resonating in the air. He is Sato Kyota, a 41-year-old single man who looks completely drained. Just an average salaryman employed at a publishing firm. A female co-worker grumbles about a last-minute cancellation by Very Good. Sato remembers joining 18 years ago when fantasy novels were all the rage. The colleague seethes, claiming Very Good has done it again, calling them fools. Sato listens with a weary expression, thinking about the streamer group. His eyes reflect a profound fatigue with his current monotonous life. A magazine on his desk features the D-Liver group from Very Good. The magazine showcases dungeon livers, streamers who share their adventures for fame. The narrative is now set in the present, the year 2025. The world is in what is referred to as the Great Age of Dungeon Exploration. A flashback reveals a massive, mysterious explosion in a city skyline. 18 years ago, the Labyrinth disaster struck suddenly, unleashing monsters. Defeated monsters drop powerful items, giving rise to heroes known as adventurers. A group of young individuals watches a screen, captivated. Dungeon exploration has become a form of entertainment, streamed live on social media. A clock on the office wall ticks slowly, time dragging on. Sato muses that fantasy has waned, forcing his company to shift its focus. He feels disconnected from youth culture, realizing he has aged. He rests his hand on the keyboard, contemplating how dull his life has become. A blonde colleague calls out to Sato just as he is about to leave. She insists he must stay and assist with the fallout from Very Good. A younger female colleague argues that he shouldn't be expected to help. This is Zuru Mahanaki, a junior staff member responsible for dungeon levers. Ruma stands disheartened as her coworkers discuss the challenging situation. Sato notes that she is far more capable and reliable than he is. He knows many have resigned due to the overwhelming stress of this job. Sato agrees to lend a hand, saying it will ease the burden for both. The blonde colleague teases him for being overly polite about it. Udama remarks that she doesn't mind, since he contributes more to the company. Sato offers a gentle smile, suggesting that a simple bow is a small price to pay. He gestures to the ground, prompting a grateful Uruma to call him senpai. The scene shifts, moving to later that evening after work hours. Sato strolls through the night, releasing a single tired sigh. He muses that life was more enjoyable 18 years back, even with a lower paycheck. A lively crowd catches his attention on the bustling street. A giant public screen flashes the word live in bright, bold letters. The live stream features an official ZSBK stream accompanied by upbeat music. The renowned elven streamer, Siren Winks, is recruiting for the Doom Project. She promises gear, allies, and the chance to strike it rich. A man in the crowd films the broadcast, utterly entranced by her. Sawtooth watches the Doom recruitment ad, his expression blank. He stands outside a 24-hour Yoshinoya restaurant, the broadcast still audible. Weighing his options, he considers a 490 yen beef bowl for dinner. Suddenly, a burst of flames erupts nearby, snapping him from his thoughts. Young adventurers recklessly cast fire spells in the street, eager to show off. One boasts that being flashy attracts more views and cash. The hooded leader scoffs, claiming he would never want to be a pathetic salaryman. He points at Satu, using him as an example of that miserable existence. Sato's hand tightens into a quivering fist, simmering with unspoken rage. Ignoring their jeers, he waits for the train at the station. He reflects that being a corporate employee is actually more lucrative these days. On the packed train, he resolves that their lives are theirs, and his is his. He returns home late, announcing his presence in the quiet apartment. A cheerful voice greets him from the dimly lit living room. It's his 16-year-old niece, Amigahara Hikari, sprawled on the couch. She asks if he'd like cheesecake curry for dinner, and he gratefully agrees. She says she'll heat it up for him right away. A caption reveals she is his older sister's daughter, making her his niece. After his parents passed, he lived alone in the family home. However, his sister returned with her daughter following her divorce. Living with his teenage niece feels awkward, but he doesn't correct her. He takes a spoonful of the steaming dark curry and rice. He tells her it's delicious, and she simply replies, "You're welcome." Hikari beams, pleased that he genuinely enjoys her cooking. With his mouth full, he tells her it makes the effort worthwhile. Hikari observes him eat, her expression thoughtful and slightly amused. He thinks meals are the sole joy in his otherwise dreary life. He praises her cooking, and she humbly claims it's only natural. Hikari winks and forms a heart shape, sending love to her uncle. He remains completely unresponsive to her sweet and affectionate gesture. Holding her phone, Hikari notes with exasperation how dry her uncle is. Satu's expression darkens as he recalls the very good group again. Hikari asks if he knows about the group, referencing his earlier complaints. His thoughts drift to the recent online drama that has been troubling him. His face hardens as he thinks he simply cannot accept what transpired. His mouth sets into a firm, unyielding line of silent fury. He envisions the toxic, self-important comments from the live stream chat. He reflects on how those types of people are everywhere in Japan. Rage fills him as he thinks it's absurd to cause trouble for others. Hikari scrolls through her phone, irritated by the cocky streamer on her screen. She casts a glance at the dinner table, calling out to her quiet uncle. The clock on the wall ticks, indicating it's now 8:40 p.m. A dark, ominous presence suddenly envelops Satu as he sits grimly at the table. He stands up abruptly, declaring he's heading out, prompting his niece's questions. As he puts on his jacket, he mentions a need to move and tells her to get some rest. The door slams shut, leaving a hesitant Hikari behind. Alone in the apartment, her face is etched with deep suspicion. Satu strides into the night with determination. His path leads him to the lively east exit of Shinjuku Station. He navigates the city streets with purpose, a lone figure on a mission. Unnoticed, a disguised Hikari trails him, snapping a photo with her phone. She muses that her uncle is definitely acting strangely. She recalls a night he came home late, his suit inexplicably stained with blood. Another memory surfaces of her doing her uncle's laundry. She remembers discovering an incredibly rare dungeon item in his shirt pocket. It was said to drop only from the most powerful monsters in the deepest dungeons. Tonight, she vows to finally uncover his secret. They pass a protest, signs demanding the return of what was lost. The large demonstration calls for the liberation of the Shinjuku dungeon. Protesters remember the 37,000 victims, their cries echoing in the air. A sign poignantly marks the 18 years since the Labyrinth disaster. Hikari observes the scene, a bead of sweat trickling down her face. She is utterly confused when her uncle arrives at a simple batting center. He calmly pays 500 yen for an hour's session while she watches from the shadows. With a determined look, Hikari presses a finger to her lips, ready to act. She approaches a different counter, revealing her adventure name, Nindu Hikari. The clerk behind the counter stares at her in wide-eyed surprise. A text box reveals her main skill is the incredibly rare Stealth SSS. She presents her adventure ID to the astonished employee. Using her skills, she slips into the facility without being noticed. Inside, the area is lined with numbered batting cages, just as she expected. From a distance, she sees Satu enter one of the cages. Peeking around a corner, she wonders what he could possibly be up to. Satu steps into the cage, thinking nothing seems out of the ordinary. Suddenly, the back wall slides open with a loud metallic clang. Hikari stares in shock, realizing he has completely vanished. With dawning horror, she understands this must be a dungeon entrance. The digital display above the cage glitches from 140 kilometers to something else. It reveals a chilling truth, recommended level 140. Hikari panics, thinking a level 140 dungeon is an impossible, unbelievable lie. Inside, Satu walks across a stone bridge in a vast castle-like realm. Hikari follows, amazed he reached such a deep level in under an hour. She knows even a party of gold-rank adventurers would struggle to reach this point. She worries for her uncle, who traverses this perilous area unprotected. Ahead on the path, a monstrous, camouflaged, frog-like creature appears. An info box identifies the beast as a formidable diamond frox. Hikari shivers, aware its height is like a weapon and immune to attacks. The creature launches itself through the air, heading straight for Satu. Sato's face remains completely calm as the beast closes in. Hikari is convinced her unremarkable uncle is about to meet his end. Defying the odds, he dodges the attack, casually noting how close it was. The diamond frog's assault sails past him, completely missing its target. Satu's expression shifts to one of intense concentration as he gears up for a counter. He swings his basic metal baseball bat in a powerful arc. The bat strikes the creature with a forceful, dynamic swing. Hikari can only watch, her jaw dropped in utter disbelief. A joyful grin spreads across Sato's face as he relishes the perfect sound. He stands over the monster's remains, pondering how weak it was. Hikari realizes that taking one down in a single blow is an incredible achievement. A sudden realization hits her. He can't let his guard down yet. She suspects more diamond frogs are on the way, as they always hunt in groups. A powerful blow sends monster guts flying through the air. Satu is poised in his batting stance, ready for the entire swarm. The head of a frox crumples under the force of his swing. He crushes another, shouting that it's for the rude punks and his annoying boss. Hikari is utterly shocked by his sudden shift into violence. A fierce, almost manic glint appears in Satu's eyes. He sends another creature flying, roaring that this is for the self-absorbed streamers. He stands amidst the chaos, his face splattered with monster blood. Overwhelmed, Hikari wonders what she's witnessing, awed by his raw strength. A bold new idea suddenly begins to take shape in her mind. She's never seen her uncle so alive and filled with zeal before. Understanding this is his secret way to relieve stress, she finds it oddly charming. She pulls out her phone, thinking she should stream this amazing spectacle. Almost instantly, a comment appears congratulating her on her first stream. Her screen quickly fills with messages from curious viewers. They ask where this is and why a man in a suit is battling diamond frogs. More comments from puzzled viewers scroll by at lightning speed. They request to see his face and wonder what other monsters await. A massive explosion of dust and debris erupts at the house's end. A gigantic serpentine head with glimmering scales emerges from the smoke. A close-up shows the beast's hide is covered in diamond-like plates. Satu looks worried, recognizing a formidable boss he can't defeat with just a bat. He stands alone, a small figure against the overwhelming menace. Forgetting everything, Hikari screams in sheer terror for her uncle. The creature is identified as an SSS-ranked boss monster, the Diamond Boa. Sato leaps into the air, bringing his bat down on the boa's massive head. He pours all his strength into the follow-through of his swing. He watches in dismay as his powerful strike proves completely ineffective. The ground shatters from the impact, yet the Diamond Boa remains unscathed. Hikari's phone drops and viewers assume the streamer has met her end. The boa's head looms over the fallen phone as the chat demands to know what happened. Hikari stares, her eyes wide with sheer unfiltered horror. The stream returns, revealing Satu has transformed, his muscles impossibly large. Viewers are baffled as the stream flickers back to life. Satu is seen dropping a small, sharp object he had been holding. Hikari gazes at her phone, utterly confused by what she is witnessing. The Diamond Boa stares down, poised to strike its transformed adversary. Hikari's hands shake uncontrollably as she attempts to capture the unbelievable scene. With a surge of raw energy, Satu swings his bat, shattering the stone beneath him. His eyes are tightly shut, a mask of intense, focused rage. The scene shifts back to school, where a classmate orders Satu to handle the cleaning. In class, a bully pressures young Satu while a friend attempts to intervene. Young Satu accepts the extra chores with a calm, resigned smile. In the present, his muscles tense as he remembers always being assigned the thankless tasks. The dungeon floor shatters and erupts from the sheer intensity of his fury. In the flashback, his classmates ridicule him for always smiling while doing their chores. Young Satu feels frustrated, aware that they consistently ignore his emotions. The Diamond Boa lunges, its taunts echoing in his mind from the arrogant dungeon dwellers. He thinks they have no right to say whatever they want. In an incredible moment, his bat cleanly slices through the monster's enormous head. The diamond boa's head is suddenly and violently destroyed from within. On the livestream, viewers can only respond with stunned sounds, huh, and E. Hikari stares, her mouth open in a silent, blushing expression of utter shock. Sato releases a primal roar, unleashing years of pent-up anger. A massive "What?" fills the screen, capturing the audience's shared disbelief. The chat erupts with excitement, heralding the rise of a new star, even if he's an old man. Hikari grips her phone, her face a blend of shock and thrill. She's gone viral. Covered in blood, Sato straightens his tie as a comment dubs him the best. Her phone screen reveals the channel has already surpassed 11,000 subscribers. He stands amidst the wreckage, exhaling a deep sigh of cathartic relief. The ancient stone archways of the deep dungeon loom ominously in the background. A glint of greed sparkles in Glenn's eyes as he watches Hikari. She revels in his overwhelming strength and the intoxicating scent of wealth. The scene transitions to the past, the ground shaking as a manhole cover rattles. A woman on the street jumps, startled by the sudden tremor. Gigantic thorny structures burst from the earth, ripping through modern buildings. The text announces the onset of a world-altering labyrinth disaster. A quiet city street is depicted, moments before the catastrophe strikes. The manhole cover is violently propelled into the air. The narrative rewinds 18 years to a scene filled with chaos and fleeing civilians. This unprecedented disaster plunged Japanese society into deep turmoil. News reports speculate on the cause, while online comments range from panic to disbelief. The world was undeniably shifting as the military established blockades. At that time, 23-year-old Sato Yuta was just another corporate worker. Despite the apocalypse, he and his co-workers were summoned back to the office. The following day, he was crammed onto a pack train, returning to the daily grind. He realized that as an adult, he lacked the time or energy for hobbies. The night sky looms over the city. His sole remaining escape was the Shinjuku Batting Center. A certificate on the wall celebrates his achievement of hitting a 160-km/h pitch. Young Sato gazes at the sign, determined to earn that certificate today. A baseball hurtles toward the plate at astonishing speed. He thinks others might consider him foolish for batting after a long workday. The ball crashes into the target, a testament to his commitment. But for him, this was the only moment he could genuinely relieve his stress. He focuses on the sign advertising the 160-km/h professional challenge. He tightens his grip on the bat, knuckles white with tension. He swings as the baseball approaches him in the batting cage. His concentration is unwavering. The ball is in perfect view, yet in its reflection, he catches a glimpse of another's terrified face. Suddenly, the back of the batting facility erupts in a violent blast. A monstrous figure emerges, demolishing the building and shrieking, "It's here!" The baseball comes to a halt, marked by a single drop of blood. With a brutal strike, the creature sends another victim flying. A grotesque, slime-like beast slithers across the ground. Sato is hurled to the floor, crying out in agony from the explosion. The creature's thick body drips onto the ground. He gazes up in terror as the monster towers over its fallen prey. His eyes widen in shock, a guttural sound of fear escaping him. The slug-like monster grins grotesquely as its victim screams beneath it. Other patrons scatter in fear, shouting to flee before they meet their end. Irritated, Sato thinks they're being excessively loud. He was just finding his focus, and they were ruining it. He tunes out the chaos, his mind slipping back into pure concentration. Amidst the shattered glass of the batting cages, he stands poised. He maintains his perfect batting stance, bat held high. His form is steady, refined through countless hours of practice. He tosses the bloodied baseball into the air. With a powerful swing, he sends the ball flying like a cannonball. He completes his follow-through, the bat whistling through the air. The baseball collides with the creature's head, a metal slug. The monster's defining trait is its incredibly tough hide. The impact is catastrophic, shattering the creature's resilient exterior. Sato lets out a triumphant roar, pure and unfiltered. The monster disintegrates, and he realizes he's gained a huge amount of experience points. He bolts out of the cage, eager to share his home run with the manager. But horror washes over him as he takes in the scene outside. An injured person lies on the ground amidst the wreckage. His hard-earned certificate is splattered with blood. He stares at the devastation, screaming, "What the hell is this?" The scene shifts to the tranquil morning of the present day. An alarm clock begins to beep in a serene suburban home. A hand reaches out to silence the 6 a.m. alarm. Satu sits up in bed, drenched in cold sweat from the nightmare. He gazes at the wall, morning light casting a long shadow. He glances at his framed certificate, realizing the insane tale was all true. While shaving, he resolves that nothing has changed. He is just a salaryman. He is and will always be an ordinary man. He finishes getting ready, his expression firm and determined. He steps into the kitchen where his sister Carrie hands him a cup of coffee. He accepts it, though he notices her tone is unusually harsh. With arms crossed, Kari Asavi mentions she went to a dungeon again. He attempts to deflect with a joke, saying he can't discuss it like a child. Corey's sharp gaze reveals she's not amused by his humor. Her expression hardens as she demands to know where he was last night. She was worried, returning home to find the house completely empty. She grabs him angrily, yelling at him to come home properly. He asks where Hikari is, the realization hitting that she wasn't home either. Kaori, his sister, stares in shock, questioning if he was live streaming from a dungeon. She cautions him about the dangers, though she concedes that streaming can be a solid career. Satu retrieves his phone, his face a mask, as he checks something. His screen reveals his niece's channel, boasting a mere 1,503 subscribers. He ponders the subscriber count, finding it rather dismal for a professional. A small inset shows his crestfallen and slightly embarrassed expression. The air is thick with unspoken words, punctuated by a single lingering dot. Corey's expression hardens with determination. She refuses to be a dream-crushing parent. Satu gazes at his sister, quietly absorbing her resolute words. She insists he must confront Hikari, taking on the role of the villain. As Satu gets ready to leave, he mentions grabbing breakfast from the convenience store. He turns with a slight grin, telling his family he's off to work. Satu strides through the ticket gates of the bustling morning train station. He overhears two students behind him chatting about the new streamer, Shinjuku Bat. The conversation brings back memories of rude yet skilled punks, causing him to scowl. On the packed train, passengers buzz about the streamer in hushed tones. Gripping a strap, Satu thinks irritably that this topic follows him everywhere. Nearby, two schoolgirls discuss the dungeon lever, one needing to hit the books. Completely drained, Satu lets out a massive yawn, oblivious to the chatter about him. A shot of his sleek office building appears as a greeting echoes. His junior colleague, Uruma Hanaka, greets him with a weary yet cheerful smile. She asks if he was up all night, as he grimaces at the flood of complaint emails. Uruma offers him a plastic bag containing a drink and a rice ball. She kindly urges him to take a break, eat something, and perhaps nap. He agrees, while she mentions the office air conditioning shuts off at night. Colleagues discuss the recent incident, unable to reach any major Doom streamers. A coworker mentions his niece has started streaming, inquiring about Hikari's stats. Satu reluctantly admits it's only 1,500, which the coworker finds unbelievable. Another colleague complains that the new streamer, Shinjuku Bat, hasn't responded to her. She explains he's a massive rookie who hit 10,000 subscribers on his first stream. She shows the Shinjuku Bat channel, which boasts 11.1k subscribers on her screen. Haruma asks if the monster he defeated last night was genuinely strong. A coworker clarifies it's the same raid boss that took down the last party. A dramatic panel illustrates the diamond boa, highlighting its tough scales and weak core. Satu watches thoughtfully, realizing this new star is actually him. Haruma calculates the monster's drops are worth 1,000,000 yen, leaving him stunned. His boss laments that the last streamer was a valuable asset to their company. The blonde department head storms in, shouting at SAH2 that those brats are fired. Uruma watches with concern, understanding this means more overtime is on the horizon. His boss instructs him to find a replacement, leaving him to ponder the workload. The scene transitions to a school building, showcasing a sign for Classroom 1D. A wide shot sets the scene in a typical Japanese high school. A close-up reveals Hikari's friend's shoulder as they sit on the stairs. Her friend glances at the Shinjuku Bat channel, which has surged to 17,000 subscribers. Hikari raves about how awesome her uncle is while her friend teases her. Her friend takes a sip of her drink, commenting that surprise streams are poor etiquette. Nearby, other students gossip that those who stand out always attract detractors. Hikari's friend speculates that his age will shield him from being discovered. She then mentions she decided to do some digging into the situation. She discovered that the batting center was damaged during the labyrinth disaster. Hikari, with a lollipop in her mouth, inquires if this happens often. Her companion clarifies that the guild oversees official gates, but unofficial ones might linger. She deduces that Sato is utilizing a perilous direct route to the lower levels. She notes that even elite teams would perish attempting that. Hikari brags about her uncle's unmatched skills, while her friend likens it to an anime. Her friend gently points out that her uncle is her hero, questioning her choices. Hikari goes quiet, her head lowered in contemplation, torn by her friend's remarks. Her friend confesses she gets it. It's a shame to let a viral sensation fade. Hugging her knees, Hikari softly agrees with a faint, sorrowful sound. She decides to express her gratitude to her uncle, and her friend urges her to do it. Then her friend scolds her for wanting to profit from it first. In the hallway, Hikari celebrates having set up filters to safeguard her uncle. Suddenly, her phone buzzes with an incoming call from her uncle. She answers with enthusiasm as her friend Riley comments on her clear affection. Her smile fades when he mentions needing to work late again. At his desk, Sato asks about dinner, mentioning he's heading out for drinks. Hikari cleverly questions if he uses his phone's GPS to keep track of where he is. Taking a break by a vending machine, Sato replies that he doesn't use it. Hikari looks disheartened, thinking it's pointless and she'll miss him. A blank panel indicates a pause in their conversation. Sato concludes the call, assuring her he understands and will remember her words. Her friend gazes at her with a knowing, slightly smug look. Hikari turns away from her friend, phone still in hand, a scheme forming. She winks, declaring Operation Success, while her friend admires her cunning. She broadcasts an emergency alert, Gorilla Stream notice on her uncle's channel. Peering out the school window, she wonders what her uncle will reveal tonight. Deep within the Shinjuku dungeon, the party rests among the ruins. Members Mash and Vinegar fret over their precarious situation. One member grumbles about the new Shinjuku bat streamer while scrolling his phone. Their leader, Salt, insists that grinding low-level monsters is a smart tactic. Another member, Petito, enters and mentions that Siren is streaming today. The group dreams of collaborating with the renowned streamer for a publicity boost. Potato dismisses a simple collaboration, claiming it wouldn't generate enough excitement. He suggests staging a rescue when a top streamer like Siren is in peril. He smirks, eyeing their 420,000 subscribers, confident in his crafty plan. A nighttime cityscape displays a massive billboard of Siren starting a new chapter. As he leaves the office, Urema asks Sato how the search for streamers is progressing. Sato grimly thinks that treating people as tools comes with consequences. He reflects on his job, viewing it as using people to create metrics. He feels this forces him into a cycle of endless, thankless labor. A close-up reveals his hand clenched into a tight, frustrated fist. An angry vein pulses on his forehead as he fumes about unpaid overtime. Urema apologizes for adding to his workload, but he reassures her not to worry. He offers her a warm smile, though she still appears downcast, feeling guilty. Outside a ramen shop, Urema resolves to properly thank him for his assistance. She enthusiastically insists on treating him to ramen as an apology for everything. He politely declines, citing corporate rules about colleagues dining alone. He adds that it's especially true for someone as attractive as her, causing her to blush. With a slight bow and a quick good night, he turns and walks away. Urema stands on the street, completely stunned by his remark. With a tired exhale, Sato reflects on narrowly avoiding a potential harassment scandal. The scene transitions to darkness, shifting from the office to the nighttime city. A building's illuminated sign flickers against the night sky. He reaches the Shinjuku Batting Center, his go-to place for unwinding. He drops a 500 yen coin on the counter to cover his session. The clerk, engrossed in a newspaper, casually tells him to take his time. Sato strolls alone down the long, narrow hallway of the batting center. He nears cage number 11, marked as a level 140 dungeon. From the shadows, his niece Hikari appears, dressed in her futuristic adventure gear. She greets her uncle, excitedly sharing that she's been waiting to capture amazing footage. A small rabbit-like creature materializes in a puff of smoke, her Shikigami drone. Hikari reveals her SSS-ranked stealth skill allows her to infiltrate dungeons undetected. She instructed her drone to film her uncle without being noticed. The tiny drone darts ahead, quietly trailing Sato down the dungeon corridor. Watching the feed on her phone, Hikari hums to herself, pleased with her plan. Suddenly, Sato halts, his instincts picking up on an unseen presence. Hikari panics, shocked that he could sense her watching. Sato scans the empty hallway, confusion and suspicion etched on his face. Now flustered, Hikari decides to risk moving closer for a better shot. He pokes the stone wall where she hides with the tip of his metal bat. Hikari's eyes widen in shock as the bat makes contact. As the bat presses in, he wonders why the wall feels oddly soft. He squints, questioning if a monster is blending in with the wall. From a distance, he considers that it might be a slime. Rubbing his chin, he contemplates the wall's strange yielding texture. Embarrassed, Hikari pleads with him to stop, feeling overwhelmed. The bat continues to jab at her chest armor. Her face flushes with panic as she struggles to stay quiet. A sudden click echoes and the floor beneath Satu crumbles away. His eyes widen in shock as he begins to fall unexpectedly. Far below, the streamer Siren and her party explore the level 140 boundary. Siren looks up in alarm, realizing they've walked into a trap. Satu plummets through the air toward the unsuspecting group. The adventurers had just gathered around an open treasure chest. The streamer identifies a siren and wonders why this is happening to them. Suddenly, a horde of monstrous diamond frogs surrounds the party. The grotesque frogs emerge from the shadows, their croaks resonating in the chamber. One of Siren's companions remarks that each of these creatures is formidable. The party's cat-eared member screams in terror, convinced they're doomed. Siren grits her teeth, her expression hardening as she vows to survive. The focus shifts to the empty treasure chest that triggered the ambush. The party's armored tank attempts to stomp a frog, but his strike is ineffective. The livestream chat mocks his failed attack, calling it guerrilla evasion. More toxic comments from viewers overlay the face of a monster. Siren questions why deep-level frogs are appearing in this mid-level zone. She grows furious reading comments urging her not to look away from her doom. The cat-eared adventurer is ensnared by a frog's long, sticky tongue. As her friend is crushed, Siren realizes their party faces total destruction. The party's mage prepares to unleash a powerful water magic spell. She raises her staff high, gathering swirling orbs of magical energy. She unleashes a colossal wave, a torrent of water that inundates the surroundings. The group watches nervously, praying that the desperate strike succeeded. A lone diamond frog rests undisturbed in a puddle, untouched by the magic. With their guard down, another frog lunges, trapping Siren against a wall. The focus shifts to the frog's eye as it prepares to strike. The creature leaps, its tongue darting toward the defenseless Siren. Panic grips Siren as she realizes the peril she's in. In a flash, a shadowy figure intervenes between her and the beast. Sato looms over her, hand shielding his face, politely saying, "Excuse me." A dark eye soars through the air, accompanied by a spray of blood. Siren's teammates can only gawk in disbelief at the sudden rescue. Sato stands composed in the chamber, surrounded by the mangled remains of frogs. Now safe, Siren is left utterly speechless by the swift carnage. With his back turned, Saw too remains silent. The brief skirmish is done. He appears unfazed, as if the conflict was merely a minor hassle. Siren sits on the ground, her mind racing to comprehend the chaos. An on-screen note reveals that an AI censors civilian faces automatically. Siren starts piecing things together, the suit, the bat, the overwhelming strength. She lifts her gaze from the destruction, fixated on the enigmatic man. With a gasp, she realizes this is the famed Shinjuku bat. Sato shifts his focus to the remaining frogs, poised to finish them off. He motions for the last trembling monsters to step forward and confront him. The surviving diamond frogs cower in the corner, paralyzed by fear. The lens of Hikari's Shikigami drone comes into sharp focus. The drone's live stream reveals over 32,000 viewers tuned into the Shinjuku Bat channel. Hiding above, Hikari revels in the stream's unexpected viral success. She sends a mental heart to her uncle, awestruck by his remarkable display. Siren's fans scatter from the chat, bewildered by the new streamer's arrival. Viewers from Siren's stream flock to Funkstream, inquiring about her safety. Hikari reflects on her uncle's luck in crossing paths with a top streamer like Siren. She squeals with joy at the sound of donations rolling in, loving the cash flow. Siren's party is astonished that one man effortlessly vanquished the monsters they struggled against. Sato crushes the final frog with a powerful swing, dubbing it a perfect pitch. A splash of dark blood stains the dungeon's tiled floor. The twisted silhouette of a fallen frog lies sprawled on the ground. The large gem, resembling a diamond, glimmers amidst the aftermath. Wiping his cheek, Sato refers to the massacre as a decent beginner's lesson. He muses that this dungeon serves as a nice spot for light entertainment. He inquires what Siren was thinking, triggering an alarm in this perilous zone. A party member grumbles that the treasure chest they opened was utterly empty. The cat-eared adventurer angrily claims they are the true victims here. Sato regards them with skepticism, clearly unconvinced by their tale. He asks if they can substantiate their claims, labeling the situation a distraction. Siren raises her phone, ready to show him the footage from her stream. She points to the pixelated figure, convinced she has found her evidence. Her eyes are glued to the screen as she prepares to identify him. The name Shinjuku Bat flashes in bold vertical letters. Sato brushes off the name, pretending not to know, asking who the real culprit is. Siren, flustered, asks if he knows who she is. She exclaims that he is an incredibly powerful and popular news streamer. With a tired look, Sato asserts he's merely a random passerby. He ridiculously states that regular folks don't venture into dungeons alone. Siren's feline-eared ally watches, completely confused by his obvious falsehood. She tells him his claim is nothing but unfounded bias. Siren's other teammate interjects with an important detail. She reminds Siren that her live stream is still active. Siren's eyes widen as she finally pieces everything together. She realizes he's the internet sensation known as Shinjuku Bait. Sato stands there, oblivious to the fact his secret is on the verge of being revealed. He internally grumbles about the intimidating nature of young women chatting privately. He assumes they must be saying something unflattering about the creepy old man. A close-up reveals Siren's adorable winking avatar on her channel. Sato recognizes her as a well-known streamer from the media powerhouse Doom production. A sinking feeling hits him. This meeting is about to get very complicated. A close-up of his shiny leather shoe shows him stepping back. Choosing to escape, he starts to walk away from the group. Siren and her friends are shocked that their enigmatic rescuer is just leaving. A shot of Siren's armored boot shows her stumbling forward to stop him. She chases after him, urgently calling for him to wait. Sato turns to her, his face a picture of pure annoyance. He asks what she could possibly want from him now. His patience is gone. His expression perfectly conveys irritation at being disturbed further. Siren stands in front of him, trying to explain her desire to thank him. She starts to present a bizarre hypothetical to clarify her feelings. She inquires if he would be open to hearing her example. The scene shifts to a large truck racing down a city road. She describes a cyclist on the verge of being struck by the truck. She explains that he could intervene and prevent the disaster. Sato, now cloaked in shadow, poses a counter question. He asks if it wouldn't be deeply unpleasant to be saved like that. Siren is taken aback, realizing he's not after gratitude but trying to avoid guilt. Sato, his face still obscured, tells her that no thanks are needed. He states that handling her appreciation is just too much hassle. Siren is left utterly speechless and flustered by his sheer bluntness. She mutters under her breath that this old man is incredibly annoying. Her party members can only watch, completely baffled by the odd man. The tank grumbles that he's being quite arrogant for someone so powerful. Sato turns and strides down a long stone corridor, leaving them behind. Siren watches him depart, a contemplative and intrigued look on her face. She quietly admits to herself that he might actually be somewhat cool. Her companions are utterly shocked by her sudden shift in attitude. A close-up captures her blushing face, completely enchanted by the mysterious man. His split panel reveals his calm demeanor alongside his imposing, powerful silhouette. She realizes it's the stark contrast between his two sides that's so captivating. Still blushing, she holds her phone, describing him as a hard-boiled character. Her companions worry that her flustered expression might be seen by her fans. They fret that if her fans catch this side of her, it'll create a stir. A shot of a phone shows the Shinjuku Bat channel viewer count soaring. The live chat comments on the cameraman's choice to never reveal the man's face. Viewers commend this decision, likening it to certain angles in adult films. One commenter wonders who this enigmatic man could be to rescue the famous Siren. The chat erupts in a lively discussion about the absurd idea of Siren dating the old man. A fresh comment appears, perfectly reflecting the mood of the viewers. The comment questions whether he isn't just strong, ordinary, and incredibly cool. From her concealed vantage point, Hikari observes the stream's success on her device. She beams, thrilled that things have turned out even better than she anticipated. She reflects on how impressive her uncle is for brushing off the advances of eager girls. Her gaze shifts back to the ongoing battle scene below. She recalls that something about the earlier events felt off. The shattered remnants of the treasure chest lay scattered on the dungeon floor. A tree image illustrates the fundamentals of adventurer skills. Hikari starts to explain how adventurers unlock their distinct skills and powers. The thick trunk of the tree symbolizes an adventurer's primary skill. This is the essential ability that every newly awakened adventurer acquires first. Her primary skill is an incredibly potent SSS rank concealment. This remarkable skill enables her to completely obscure her form and presence. As the main skill develops, branches emerge, signifying the gained subskills. Adventurers can learn these new branching abilities as they level up. For instance, she can utilize her B-rank ninjutsu subskill on her drone. This turns her drone into a stealthy rabbit-like shikigami for filming. The small, charming drone glides silently over the dungeon ruins, completely unnoticed. She reveals another, even more valuable subskill at her disposal. A close-up of her eyes shows her intensely focusing on the damaged chest. She exclaims that she can also employ the versatile appraisal skill. An info box appears, identifying the item as a level 11 broken treasure chest. Her stream viewers quickly notice that something is seriously amiss. They realize a low-level chest shouldn't be found in such a deep zone. They theorize it was brought here and rigged with an alarm to ensnare someone. The chilling realization hits them. Someone targeted another adventurer. They speculate whether the intended victim was the renowned streamer, Siren. Hikari sits, contemplating the dark implications of her findings. Her drone confirms her fears. Someone tried to commit monster player killing. She understands that if this is accurate, the perpetrators must still be close. With grim resolve, she sends her entire army of Shikigami drones to investigate. With a cheerful yet ominous laugh, she declares that she has located them. The drones peer through a high window, spotting their targets in another room. They see the group of adventurers known as Very Good hiding out. The red-haired leader is angrily complaining to his teammate, Potato. He's furious that some nobody attracted a high-level monster, ruining their scheme. Hikari, watching on her phone, is infuriated to recognize the culprits as Very Good. Meanwhile, Siren is still desperately trying to express her gratitude to Satu. She follows him, insisting that he at least allow her to thank him properly. Sato bluntly tells her that's enough. He neither needs nor wants her gifts. Desperate, Siren makes one final plea, begging him for his contact details. Satu finally snaps, shouting that he refuses, sending her into a comical despair. Siren's party can only watch the strange exchange, utterly baffled by it all. From their hiding place, the members of Very Good observe the unfolding scene. Their leader is seething with anger that his master plan has been thwarted. He can't believe his heroic moment was stolen by this random, unremarkable man. Siren spots the hooded member of Very Good clutching the genuine treasure chest. As the chaos settles, small rocks tumble near Satu's pristine business suit. An adventurer jumps off a ledge, yelling a warning about the swirling chaos beneath. The leader of Very Good, floating in the vortex, glances up, bewildered. Satu splashes down onto the water, sprinting as the leader yells in disbelief. He remembers the corporate motto about pushing past physical and mental limits. A flashback reveals a younger haggard Satu forcing himself to keep grinding. His senior's ridiculous reasoning likened endless work to running on water. Using this reasoning, Satu finds that running on water is surprisingly easier. With determination in his eyes, he reassures himself that this is achievable. His massive figure springs from the water, scaring the trapped adventurers. The party's tank is hurled away, crashing into a stone wall with a loud thud. Satu steps out of the dust cloud, his metal bat poised for action. The Very Good leader grips his bleeding face, groaning in agony. Sato's bat lands a brutal hit on the leader's face. Potato is sent flying from another fierce swing. Satu stands over his vanquished foes, adjusting his tie with a courteous apology. The Siren's party members can only gawk, their faces frozen in shock. The defeated leader of Very Good lies speechless and broken on the ground. Siren rushes to him, asking if the uncle is okay, but his focus is elsewhere. Her teammate warns her to be cautious since the uncle's stream is still live. The cat-eared member admires the hidden drone, complimenting the cameraman's stealth. The defeated Very Good party sits in despair, one member humorously labeled as dead. Saw-2 overhears Siren pondering if he knows the identities of the attackers. He kneels, inspecting the unconscious face of the fallen party leader. He recognizes him as the arrogant young man who had ridiculed him earlier. This realization hits him. It's the reason he's been working overtime lately. A furious, demonic grin spreads across his face as he grips the man's collar. Siren urges him to calm down, asking for an explanation of his actions. The young adventurer quakes in fear, trapped in Satu's unyielding grasp. He protests his innocence, threatening the guild, but Siren's mage coolly claims responsibility. The leader seethes, vowing to teach this common old man a lesson. In a frantic move, he smashes a wooden chest to trigger another trap. He screams for a powerful monster to emerge as Siren notes the alarm has been reactivated. He angrily shouts that this upstart middle-aged man is getting too arrogant. Satu's grip tightens on his bat, his index finger steady with focus. A tiny peanut-shaped monster materializes on a magic circle, squeaking in distress. Satu's imposing figure towers over the comically unimpressive creature. The party ridicules the tiny peanut man as it scurries around ineffectively. The leader desperately insists it was all a planned joke, but Satu remains unimpressed. Siren calmly clarifies that their real plan was to stage a rescue and propose collaboration. Satu chastises him for risking lives for a game while the peanut monster flits about. Siren's cat-eared friend points out he hasn't apologized once, but thinks the peanut is adorable. The leader begs for mercy, claiming it was merely a joke and not to take it seriously. Sato's bat swings in a blur, striking the airborne leader. He hits a perfect home run, sending the adventurer soaring across the dungeon. Siren calls out his name as he stands calmly over the aftermath of his swing. With a satisfied, sparkling grin, Satu declares he feels completely revitalized. Siren is left blushing and utterly speechless by his nonchalant display of overwhelming power. The adventurer's body flies through the air, a testament to the devastating impact. Siren's party is stunned, questioning if he went too far and actually killed him. The hooded mage observes with a cool, completely unfazed demeanor. A teammate inquires if Siren is departing, but she's utterly mesmerized. Siren blushes fiercely, murmuring to herself about how cool Shinjuku Batsuma is. The focus shifts to the outside of a sleek, modern glass office building. Inside lies the sales department of Bukinsha Shobu, a standard corporate setting. Uruma Hanaka approaches Satu, questioning if he heard about Very Good's expulsion. Sato feigns disinterest while Uruma mentions their guild's qualifications were revoked. A news piece verifies Very Good's expulsion due to the MPK incident. Sato feels a quiet relief, realizing Siren kept her word to safeguard his identity. From off-screen, his department head's sharp voice calls out his name. Satu glances up from his screen, startled by the unexpected summons. His boss informs him that he will be questioned by the police since he was present. A flashback reveals him insisting to Siren that he just wants to enjoy his hobby. Siren bashfully requests a favor, and a flustered Sato agrees to anything. She urges him to keep her involvement a secret, regardless of what occurs. Her party members observe, silently endorsing her clever request. As a condition for her silence, she asks if he can do her a favor in return. Satu appears utterly confused by the sudden and unexpected offer. In the present, he notices the Shinjuku Bet channel boasts over 82,000 subscribers. Orma is astonished, exclaiming that the channel's growth is remarkable. Sato reflects that, unlike Doom streamers, he can't be easily tracked down. He receives a direct message from Siren, who cheerfully addresses him as Uncle Sama. She sends an adorable sticker of herself, forming a heart with the word love. Alarmed, Sato wonders what her intentions are as Aruma questions a strange message. He sighs about how challenging it is to handle advances from younger women. Roma exclaims she faces the same issue, surprising him. She mentions receiving messages from idols and asks if he uses a specific app. Sato confirms he uses it for family, finding it handy for communication. Ruma reveals she uses it too and eagerly requests to exchange contacts. Sato is taken aback, his polite smile hiding his inner turmoil. He desperately wants to decline, viewing it as an invasion of his privacy. Ruma beams, thinking she has found a clever way to obtain his information. Sato reluctantly consents, muttering to himself about how bothersome this is. His boss calls him over with a rumor. He snaps to attention, ready to help. He approaches her desk with a sense of foreboding, feeling uneasy. The boss glares at him from beneath her bangs, capturing his attention. She asks if he has found a replacement for the Very Good feature yet. He admits he hasn't received any responses to his emails. The boss slams a magazine on her desk, declaring this is a significant issue. Sato notes her sarcasm regarding their company's flagship magazine. She clarifies that a problem has emerged with the flagship magazine itself. She explains that their major feature on Very Good is now entirely worthless. Sato protests that the content isn't the responsibility of the sales department. Worma watches with concern as her boss prepares to issue a direct command. The boss instructs Aruma to pitch Doom production with Satu as her support. Worma is stunned, realizing Doom is the industry giant managing Siren. The boss confirms with a pointed finger that it is indeed that Doom. Sato asks if they have a budget for such an endeavor. She replies no. She tells him that making it happen is what truly tests a salesman's skill. She assigns the impossible task to them, leaving Satu and Aruma in shock. Aruma and Sato react with disbelief to the sudden daunting task their boss has set. They reach the imposing headquarters of the media titan DOOM Production. Next to a composed Satu, his junior, Aruma, is visibly quaking with fear. Peering over a desk, a nervous group watches as Satu meets their contact. They are led to a sleek conference room facing a solitary man. Their host, Katsuki Kanai, a former streamer, condescendingly inquires about their names. Satu introduces himself as a representative from the publishing firm, Bukinsha Shobu. Katsuki expresses gratitude for their presence but quickly dismisses their collaboration request. Waruma fumbles as Katsuki impatiently urges them to expedite their pitch. She nervously concludes her presentation, stating that's all she has to offer. Aruma is taken aback as Katsuki bluntly labels her pitch a tedious waste. With a smug tone, he questions what value Doom could find in partnering with them. Satu observes their dismissive demeanor, realizing they never intended to negotiate. Katsuki scoffs at the insignificance of print media, furious at the time wasted. Irma trembles with anxiety, feeling the weight of the hostile atmosphere. Katsuki's predatory gaze shifts, now fully focused on Arima. He proposes a gathering with his streamers, hinting it could lead to a good opportunity for her. Leaning closer, he comments on her appearance, suggesting it would enhance his own image. Irma is horrified, grasping the predatory undertones of his adult conversation. With a lecherous grin, he asks if she comprehends his implications. She stutters, asserting that his suggestion constitutes serious sexual harassment. He brushes off her accusation, claiming he merely wants to hear her out. He suggests a private meeting in a hotel room, if that's what she prefers. Worma is left speechless, her face a portrait of shock and disgust. Having heard enough, Satu exhales quietly, a weary sigh of resignation. He stands up politely, thanks Katsuki for his time, and prepares to exit. A startled Aruma calls out to Satu as he walks away from the table. Katsuki angrily questions why he's leaving when things were just getting interesting. Satu calmly replies that nowadays, anyone can broadcast to the world through Essence. Katsuki rants about the dangers streamers face, trying to justify his predatory actions. Satu explains the troubling trend of streamers being coerced into compromising situations. He mentions a rumor about a talent named Akafumi Rin that could become an article. Katsuki is taken aback, demanding to know how Satu could possibly be aware of that. Satu coolly responds that old media companies like theirs have their connections. He turns to exit the room, telling Aruma it's time for them to leave. He takes Uruma's hand in surprise, guiding her out of the room. A close-up captures Satu's determined expression as he seizes control of the situation. Uruma is taken aback by his boldness, thinking he's cool, not just an Osan. Katsuki lunges forward, seizing Satu's tie and shouting not to underestimate him. Sato effortlessly grips Katsuki's wrist, energy crackling from his hold. He twists Katsuki's arm with ease, forcing the larger man to bend in pain. Sato notes with disappointment that Katsuki is surprisingly weak despite his bravado. Kneeling in defeat, Katsuki realizes the negotiations have ended violently. Satu and Aruma walk away, leaving the humiliated manager in their wake. An exterior shot reveals the towering Doom production skyscraper against the sky. Outside, Urum expresses her deep gratitude to Satu for his assistance. He reassures her not to fret, though he admits the business deal fell through. Aruma fears he'll face reprimand, but he knows their boss relies on him too much. He explains that the recent scandal left a significant gap in their magazine. As they walk, he ponders their next steps, his mission a total failure. Who watches him from a distance, her expression filled with quiet admiration. She watches him stroll through the plaza, a newfound admiration shining in her gaze. From a high window, Katsuki observes their departure, his expression darkened by fury. Silent rage boils within him, teeth clenched in humiliation and defeat. His fist tightens, the sound of cracking knuckles echoing his simmering anger. In the immaculate lobby, Katsuki is approached by a flamboyant, sadistic coworker. The man greets Katsuki with a sneering grin, inquiring about his troubles. With brutal force, the sadist seizes Katsuki's hand, crushing it mercilessly. Katsuki screams in agony as his bones splinter under the pressure. Blood splatters across the pristine white floor, a grim testament to the violence. The sadist licks the blood from his fingers, boasting about his own power. He mocks the terrified Katsuki, asking if fear has finally gripped him. Crouched on the floor, Katsuki whimpers, revealing his broken front teeth. The sadist seizes him again, calling him a punching bag, and resuming the assault. Oblivious to the violence, the woman he saved walks away. The sadist enjoys smashing Katsuki's head repeatedly against a glass wall. The woman inquires if Sato is the one from Bukinsha Shobu. A close-up reveals Katsuki's bloodied, battered face, eyes wide with fear. On the phone, Kotsuki vows to make the perpetrator pay for this humiliation. As they walk down the street, Uruma questions the truth of the Akafumi Rin story. Sato admits it was merely a vague rumor he had heard. He confesses it was a complete bluff he used to escape. The rumor suggested a female employee was pressured by a man from DOOM. Sato feels mortified, realizing he has just revealed the industry's dark side. Ruma calls out to him, halting him on the street as he moves forward. Shyly, she asks if he is free this evening. Confused, he asks for clarification, and she explains it's to thank him. Blushing deeply, she invites him for a drink. Immediately, she feels embarrassed for her boldness in asking him out. He reassures her not to worry, but she persists. He explains that safeguarding his colleagues is simply part of his duty. Politely, he declines her invitation, stating he already has dinner plans. She jumps to the wrong conclusion, asking if it's a date or matchmaking. He smiles warmly, explaining that his sister and niece invited him out. Orimar is left momentarily speechless by his kind and straightforward response. She comments that he would make a great father, which he finds amusing. He then kindly invites her to join them for their family dinner. Oruma beams at the unexpected invitation, her face lighting up. Their bosses are exasperated that he's considering dinner at a time like this. Sato walks through the station, realizing he's late for dinner. He muses that his sister has good taste in choosing an old-fashioned beer. He waits on the crowded platform as the train arrives. The train car is crammed with commuters, pressing in tightly from all directions. He thinks that on a hot day like this, a cold beer will be refreshing. He envisions clinking two large, frosty beer mugs together in celebration. He decides he will definitely indulge in a king-size beer tonight. Suddenly, he grabs a woman's arm, instructing her to get off at the next stop. The woman and other passengers are startled by his abrupt, aggressive move. The young woman with glasses gazes up at him in utter confusion. A man thrusts a phone in his face, loudly accusing him of being a groper. A man shoves his phone forward, accusing someone of having a pervy face while recording. On a train, Mamoru confronts Sato, accusing him of inappropriately touching a young woman. Sato calmly questions if he's mistaken, revealing both hands are occupied. Memorial snaps back, asserting that even a light brush counts as groping. He boasts about his fame as a streamer and his connections with the police, demanding Sato's ED. The young woman interjects, insisting she wasn't groped and that he's wrong. Mamoru brushes her off, claiming she's a victim who just hasn't realized it yet. He holds his phone up, declaring her terrified expression is all the proof he needs. Now visibly intimidated, the woman pleads for him to stop filming and delete the video. Memorial passionately insists he can't allow such behavior, claiming he's acting for society. He leans in threateningly, while the woman stares back, clearly frightened. Sato exhales deeply, the weight of the stressful situation pressing down on him. He quickly sends a text to his family, letting them know he's in trouble and will be late. Mamoru yells at him for texting, calling him a gropor and ordering him to stop. Sato politely requests a moment of the young woman's time, and she quietly agrees. He suggests they all disembark at the next station to sort this out with the staff. The woman nods, agreeing that they should clarify the truth of the situation. A man lurking in the background clicks his tongue, clearly annoyed. As the train halts, Mamoru waves goodbye, abruptly ending his dramatic confrontation. He continues to hurl insults from afar, labeling Sato a gropor as he watches. Other passengers chime in, murmuring that the creepy old man deserves to die for his actions. A crowd surrounds Sato, loudly accusing him while snapping photos for evidence. Sato realizes they all launch their accusations simultaneously, ignoring the actual facts. The truth hits him. These accusers aren't genuine passengers, they're hired shills. He feels a sinking dread as he comprehends this entire confrontation is a setup. Someone shouts to pursue him as the young woman is pushed, her glasses falling to the ground. A close-up reveals her glasses lying abandoned on the train car floor. Left on the platform, Satu watches the train depart, knowing chasing it would be futile. He recalls his tense encounter with Katsuki, realizing this is likely petty revenge. He spots the woman kneeling on the platform, her movements too quick and rehearsed. Calmly, she retrieves her glasses, her composure revealing her involvement in the act. With false sincerity, she apologizes, claiming the whole incident was her fault. Dropping her facade, she admits she has a talent for landing in these situations. Adjusting her glasses, she mentions it's a strange coincidence that they are alike. She suggests exchanging contact details in case they encounter trouble again. To prove her connections, she shows him her phone wallpaper featuring the streamer siren. Satu's face contorts in disgust, and the woman notices his clear aversion. She acknowledges his revulsion, pointing out that he seems to find her repulsive. At a convenience store, Hikari waits, concerned about her uncle after his cryptic message. She spots him arriving with two other men who are checking her out. The men blush, thinking she's cute, but she pays them no attention. Hikari smiles, deciding that tonight she will treat her uncle. Their restaurant table is laden with a lavish spread of steak, pasta, pizza, and sausages. A tiny chibi version of Aruma raises a beer mug, proposing a toast to her uncle. Sato and Aruma clink their glasses together, joining in the joyful toast. Satu takes a long, satisfying gulp from his frosty beer mug. He slams the empty glass down on the table, letting out a deep sigh of relief. Aruma asks if the food is good, and Satu confirms it's delicious. She encourages him to eat and drink his fill, knowing he's been through a lot. She inquires if something happened, but he brushes it off, saying it was nothing. He attempts to forget the incident, changing the topic to ask where his sister is. Hikari mentions her mother is busy, then urges him to continue eating. Ruma reflects that this meal serves as her gratitude for his assistance. She inquires about his sister's job, mentioning she heard it involves handmade crafts. Satu grows wary, questioning what his sister might be secretly doing for a living. The scene shifts. Satu comments on how long it's been since he could unwind and chat with Hikari. He poses a classic uncle question, asking how school is treating her. He smiles, expressing concern about her nightlife, prompting a giggle from her. Hikari lights up, sharing that she's made friends and feels fulfilled daily. She thinks to herself that she can't yet disclose her role in boosting his channel. As he reaches for a sausage, his phone on the table starts vibrating loudly. Aruma points out the incoming call, noting it's from his department head. Sato attempts to ignore the call with a drink, but Ruma insists he should answer. He steps away from the table to take the crucial call outside. Outside the restaurant, he answers, apologizing to his boss for the late hour. His boss, feet up on her desk, cuts to the chase, asking if he was just groped. Sato is taken aback, managing only a bewildered yes in reply. She explains she's been bombarded with links to Memoru's stream, but the proof is flimsy. She continues to evaluate the situation. Sato confirms that the incident she refers to occurred just an hour ago. Irma listens from the office as the boss comments on the attack's sophistication. The boss wonders why an employee from a small publishing house is being targeted. She reveals a threat sent to the company's social media, demanding a corporate response. She concludes that he has clearly been set up and is thoroughly irritated by it. Sato reflects on how he never imagined his actions would provoke such a fierce grudge. His boss continues, her frustration escalating. She asserts her trust in him, knowing he's too self-preserving to commit such a crime. Sato smiles, relieved that his boss understands him so well, and starts to explain. He mentions that the setup seems too elaborate for a mere streamer, hinting at a conspiracy. He recalls one recent event that could have triggered the attack. The image of the disgraced Doom production manager, Katsuki Kanai, flashes in his mind. The boss erupts in anger, furious that the industry giant would target her team. Sato thinks that while there's no evidence, he shares her feelings about the situation. Though flustered, his boss agrees with his take on the matter. She tells him he has every reason to be outraged at being targeted like this. She lays out her counter-strategy, delay their response and avoid raising suspicion. She reassures him that the company won't penalize him and that she believes him completely. In the office, Urama clenches her fists, furious at the scoundrels exploiting social justice. Sato offers to head back to the office if she needs him. His boss tells him to enjoy his family dinner, insisting it would be wrong to interrupt. He expresses gratitude for her understanding and support before ending the call. He grips his phone tightly, aware that even without proof, the accusation is damaging. He thinks about the defamatory title of the video, which implicates him as the culprit. He knows that for a scoundrel like Mamoru, self-preservation is the top priority. Waruma gazes at Sato's back, now shrouded in a dark, powerful aura. Sato is furious that this mess is dragging his company and family through the mud. He returns to the table where a cheerful Hikari greets him. His body has transformed, muscles bulging as dark energy swirls around him. Hikari asks what's wrong. He forces a gentle smile, attempting to mask his intense rage, and says it's nothing. At the dinner table, Hikari notices her uncle's dark mood. She insists something's wrong and urges him to be honest. Sato nods quietly, his expression clouded with anxiety. To jolt him from his fury, Hikari pours his beer over him. The icy surprise works, and his imposing figure visibly shrinks. Hikari, taken aback, reassures him that he's fine now. He inquires about the situation, and she insists on taking a cab home. At the counter, she presents a 10,000 yen bill to cover their meal. He objects, but she firmly states it's a treat from her and her mother. He expresses gratitude for her generosity, suggesting she keep the change. As he departs, she calls out his name, concern lacing her voice. Holding the cash, she realizes she needs to do something for him. His Shinjuku Bat channel has now reached 85,000 subscribers. She quickly shares an announcement for a surprise guerrilla stream tonight. The chat erupts with excitement from fans eagerly anticipating. She presses the phone to her lips, winking with resolve. She reflects that her uncle can't escape his issues. Later, Sato arrives at the Shinjuku Batting Center for his hour-long session. He hands over his usual 500 yen fee to the attendant. The attendant observes him leave, confusion etched on his face. Sato's thoughts are consumed with rage towards the bullying industry giant. He also envisions the sleazy streamer who attempted to frame him. With his bat in hand, he readies himself to enter the lustful demon palace. He is resolved to crush every last lust-crazed monster within. The dungeon resembles a grotesque mockery of a Shinjuku entertainment venue. He steps through the camouflaged entrance of the Kabukicho branch. This dungeon distorts the memories of the old red light district. The air is thick with a corrupting miasma. It's rumored to be a realm where time and space have twisted. The area suffered devastation during the Labyrinth disaster. Now, it has morphed into a uniquely perilous section of the dungeon. It's a breeding ground for demons and monsters born from human vice. One creature has a shell-like back throbbing with vile energy. Another is a mass of oozing, shapeless flesh. The monsters grotesquely mimic salarymen and muscular figures. Sato steps forward, his concentration unwavering. He grips his bat firmly, knowing this is why he comes here. A brawny monster charges at him, its intentions unmistakable. Sato readies his swing, form flawless. He proclaims this is precisely the kind of curveball he craves. With a thunderous crack, he sends the monster soaring. The impact creates a spectacular eruption of guts. The remains splatter against a distant billboard. He calls the display impressive fireworks. Resting the bat on his shoulder, he declares it's the ultimate thrill. He thinks of all the stress he needs to unleash. He warns the remaining monsters that they will be his next targets. From a distance, Hikari's drone captures the unfolding scene. She scans intel on the perilous, lustful demons from her device. She realizes it's too dangerous to compromise her SSS rank stealth here. The demons in this area possess high resistance to both physical and magical attacks. A chill runs down her spine as she contemplates the grim fate awaiting the vanquished. Her gaze is fixed on her uncle, eyes wide with concern. He channels his rage against a beast that embodies the man from the train. The creature is completely annihilated in a graphic explosion. Sato shout for the scoundrel to vanish into nothingness. Another beast resembling an ogre looms in front of him. Its head bursts in a violent spray of blood and brain matter. Hikari is taken aback, but reassures herself that her uncle is strong. She believes he possesses such immense strength that he's invincible. The stream's chat celebrates his invigorating power, and a hefty donation rolls in. Sato stands amidst the wreckage, his suit splattered with the blood of monsters. He surveys the battlefield littered with fallen demons. Hikari revels in the super chats pouring in from her expanding fan base. She dreams that if he makes enough, he can finally leave his job behind. She imagines herself as his full-time stream manager, filled with joy. Suddenly, a tremendous explosion shakes the entire dungeon. The ground fractures violently from the force of the blast. An enormous, ornate spear is now lodged in the dungeon floor. Sato stare in shock, exclaiming about the spear. He nimbly jumps across the fractured, unstable ground. The shockwave spreads outward, wreaking havoc in its wake. He lands on a ledge, glancing back at the devastation. Confusion washes over his face. The blast's sound reverberates throughout the chamber. Hikari's stream abruptly cuts off, displaying a disconnection message. The chat instantly fills with anxious comments from her audience. Panic sets in as she fears her uncle has finally been found. The smoke from the explosion begins to dissipate. The stunning glowing spear rests among the debris. Sawtooth stands on a high ledge, gazing down at the weapon. He notices a figure on the opposite side of the crater. A young woman clad in radiant armor now grips the legendary spear. She catches sight of Satu in the distance. Mistaking him for a foe, she charges at him with blinding speed. Satu braces himself for the impossibly swift assault. His simple metal bat collides with her legendary weapon. Their faces are mere inches apart as their weapons clash. He shouts for her to hold on as they break apart. He deflects another fierce thrust, his face set in determination. Her eyes are obscured by her hair as she strikes. She suddenly halts, shocked to realize he is human. Immediately, she bows deeply, sincerely apologizing for her error. He advises her to be cautious. Her attack was perilous. She clarifies that she sensed no one else nearby. From behind a pillar, Hikari observes the interaction. She fears she might be discovered, her stealth skill active. She informs her drone that the feed cut out during the chaos. The adventurer wonders what this man is doing in such a place. She is recognized as Santa, the spear wielder, a leading doom streamer. An establishing shot reveals the lustful demon palace, a twisted mirror of Shinjuku. Hikari can't contain her excitement, knowing this surprise partnership is bound to go viral. She shouts that first Siren and now Sina have shown up. Her uncle is a legend. Her tiny Shikigami drone announces that the livestream is about to restart. Sina believes that since this is an official recording, she needs to edit their chat. The drone hovers close to Satu, who feels its presence but sees nothing. The stream resumes, with viewers questioning if the pixelated Osan is all right. The chat goes wild as viewers scramble to identify the heavily censored figure. Sina checks on the two, asking if he's okay. He coolly replies that all is well. A strange feeling washes over him, making him wonder if it's just in his head. Sina apologizes profusely, claiming her poor eyesight made her mistake him for a monster. She questions how his bat could withstand her legendary weapon, urging him to stop. The flashback reveals that most adventure weapons are mass-produced by the Guild. Yet a few unique, irreplaceable legendary weapons exist, cherished by adventurers. Sina, a top talent from Doom Production, wields one of these legendary spears. Sato spots another celebrity, hoping he isn't being streamed live right now. He scans the surroundings but feels no one else nearby, puzzled by the sensation. Sina asks if his vision is poor. He admits that it is. Suddenly, she calls his excuse a lie, her expression shifting to serious and accusatory. She tests him with a furious flurry of attacks, a blur of lethal motion. Her face shows intense focus as she intensifies her assault. Sparks fly as Satu's simple metal bat deflects her legendary spear. The two engage in a breathtaking duel, a whirlwind of unimaginable power. Satu stays calm and focused, countering every strike with precise strength. The live chat erupts in disbelief as a battle suddenly ignites between them. Hikari watches in awe, recognizing the high-stakes clash between the two legends. Sato and Sena continue their deadly dance amidst the dungeon's crumbling remains. He grips his bat firmly, his face set in grim, unwavering determination. Sina is taken aback by his remarkable skill as the air whistles past her. Their final explosive clash fractures the very ground beneath them. A close-up shows the metal bat now cracked from the tremendous impact. Sina realizes his bat lacks magic, asking if it's a commercial item. He confirms it's a rental, leading her to inquire if he possesses a special skill. He explains it's merely mimicry from watching kung fu films at the office. Sina is completely bewildered, stammering that he's just imitating a movie's and manga. Sato reflects that his claim of poor eyesight was indeed a fabrication. He reveals his true secret. He actually closes his eyes during combat. Sina is puzzled, arguing that would make it impossible to distinguish friend from foe. She asks if his initial parry was merely to confirm something about her. He explains that depending on sight is too slow, he was testing his reflexes. He states that while adventurers are told life is cheap, he finds death terrifying. He asserts with complete conviction that dying is indeed very frightening. Sina remembers her past, never feeling fear even against stronger monsters. She is touched by his words, realizing she'll regret not properly thanking him. She apologizes for prying, but he expresses gratitude for her heartfelt advice. Sato admits he's too frightened to open his eyes while in battle. He reveals his primary skill is called Kanmoku Shingen, or Mind's Eye. Sina realizes his skill is unrankable, classified as EX due to its unmatched nature. She explains the skill grants him an elevated third-person view during combat. Her eyes widen as she grasps the incredible potential of such an ability. She notes it must enhance his reflexes, making time feel like it slows down. She comments on its usefulness, enabling him to pierce through A-rank invisibility. Hikari, with her SSS rank stealth, thinks to herself that she nearly got caught. Sina discloses that she gained her skill 18 years prior at the age of 4. She reflects on the painful memories from that day, the labyrinth catastrophe. A stark panel shifts into the haunting flashback of that disastrous day. A young Sana recalls being torn from her parents, trapped by monsters. A sweeping view captures the chaos of the labyrinth disaster from 18 years ago. A swarm of hideous goblin-like creatures floods the devastated city streets. One of the monsters lunges straight at the frightened young Sina. She emits a small, terrified scream as the beast approaches. The monster's sharp, threatening claw inches closer to her face. In a moment of excruciating pain, the claw slashes across her eyes. Elsewhere in the city, a young Satu finds himself surrounded by monsters. The city burns, with the echoes of screams reverberating through the streets. A young Satu yells out a mix of pure rage and frustration. He curses the monsters, labeling them beasts for the havoc they've wreaked. On the phone, his face reflects utter sorrow and desperation. He laments that his newfound power means nothing if he can't protect anyone. He spots the injured young Sina and reassures her that everything will be fine. He pledges that as a Buzu monk boy, he will definitely safeguard her. A transitional panel shifts the narrative from the past back to the present. Sina ponders the whereabouts of the man who rescued her all those years ago. She vividly recalls how he shielded her and guided her to safety. Satu inquires about what happened to her parents after that dreadful day. She replies that she was safely reunited with him, and he feels relieved. She asks about his own experience. He fabricates a tale of being in dire straits. He claims he couldn't save a single boy from the shelter. He states he only learned the shelter was overrun when it was too late. A transitional panel signifies a pause in their heartfelt exchange. Satu clenches his fist, haunted by the painful false memory. Sana gazes at him, a flicker of deep recognition sparking in her eyes. With a tearful, radiant smile, she expresses her joy that he survived. Satu feels touched by her words, his stoic demeanor softening a bit. From her hiding place, Hikari grasps the reality of the situation. She realizes her uncle was the adventurer who saved Sina's life. Sina shares that she became an adventurer to find her enigmatic savior. She hoped that fame would catch his attention and prompt him to reach out. Sato absorbs her story, his expression inscrutable as he simply replies, "Is that so?" Sina admits that since that day, she's been too frightened to fight with her eyes open. She must rely on her skills, unable to fight effectively in a group. Satu turns away, brushing off her gratitude as an unwelcome intrusion. He advises her not to overexert herself, as the life she saved is invaluable. He mentions that the one who saved her would be saddened to see her struggle. He smiles gently, sharing that it pains him to witness young people suffer. Sina gazes at him, her heart filled with a profound, quiet understanding. She questions why someone as mysterious as him is at the batting center. A framed picture reveals the face of the man who rescued her. Sina realizes that Satu bears a striking resemblance to him, her eyes widening in shock. She remembers the man on the train, connecting the dots and realizing they are one and the same. From her concealed drone, Hikari observes her uncle, frustrated that she can't hear their exchange. The focus shifts to the tender exchange shared by the two fighters. Hikari worries that if they delay any longer, the situation could turn perilous for the stream. A new voice breaks in, curious if they are indeed who he suspects. Two bewildered lawyers are taken aback by the unexpected visitor. A charming figure in military gear raises a camera, requesting a moment of their attention. He approaches with an air of confidence, sparkling charisma as Satu observes. With his characteristic courtesy, Satu inquires which of them the man wishes to address. He presents himself as Dan, a renowned cameraman frequently filming Sina. With a charming smile, he expresses his delight in meeting them. Sato is astonished by the number of experts he keeps encountering in this dungeon. Dan clarifies that he's an artist, not merely a streamer, as Satu had presumed. Dan and Satu share a moment of camaraderie over the often unappreciated task of editing. Sina reveals that Dan is the mastermind behind her promotional videos. Dan is taken aback, admitting he never expected to meet someone who could rival Sina. Sina formally introduces herself as the spear dancer here to shoot a new music video. Dan astutely deduces that Satu must be a fresh talent paired with the famous adventurer. Satu hurriedly refutes this, claiming there's no rookie accompanying him. Dan laments that those in charge failed to grasp the industry, leaving freelancers with no choice. Sina expresses concern for Dan's shyness, noting that skilled individuals like him are rare. She's taken aback to learn that Satu has faced a similarly frustrating professional ordeal. Dan becomes furious, revealing that the rookie he was supposed to film never even arrived. Satu empathizes deeply, fully aware of the agony caused by unreasonable corporate expectations. He recalls a recent incident where a ghostly cat appeared, resonating with his feelings. Watching from a distance, Hikari senses something must have gone wrong with her uncle at work. Sato inquires about the rookie's safety, fearing an amateur has been sent into a perilous situation. Dan's voice calls out from off-screen, asking for a small favor. He drops to his knees, pleading with Satu to take part in the music video instead. Sato's muscles tense in horror as he flatly declares he absolutely does not want to. Dan apologizes for being so forward and formally offers to compensate Satu for his time. Satu clarifies that it's not about the money. He simply dislikes being in the spotlight. Dan assures him of complete anonymity, proposing to replace his face and name with CGI. He fervently insists that he must capture their remarkable chemistry on film. Sina chimes in, asking Satu to please assist them if it's not too much trouble. She explains that with him alongside her, she can deliver her utmost performance. While she doesn't want to hold back, she also refuses to compromise on her craft. She thinks of all the fans eagerly anticipating her new songs and dances. With determination in her eyes, she expresses her wish to provide them with the best show. Satu ponders deeply, covering his mouth before finally exhaling a sigh of acceptance. Though his body remains tense with hesitation, his mind has made a decision. He quietly considers the implications of his choice. He glances at his watch, checking how much time is left. He raises his weapon, clarifying that the bat is a rental. With 30 minutes remaining in his 1-hour session, he apologizes for the delay. He boldly states they will conquer the entire dungeon in the next 25 minutes. He asks Senev if she's okay with him taking the initiative. She agrees. Resting the bat on his shoulder, he stands ready to accept the daunting challenge. Dan erupts with excitement, eager to capture what promises to be a legendary performance. He releases a swarm of sleek, fish-like camera drones he dubs albacores. With the cameras rolling and the scene set, Dan shouts for the music to start. As they charge into battle, Satu praises Sina for her fantastic new song. He grins, realizing the music is granting him a delightful boost. A hideous demon is swiftly annihilated by the might of his swing. The creature's form is shredded, unable to endure the simple metal bat. Satu stands in the midst of chaos, obliterating monsters into clouds of debris. The sharp crack of his bat against the monster's flesh reverberates through the dungeon. Sina lets out a nervous chuckle, utterly amazed by his raw strength. She questions if he's truly comfortable unleashing his full power like this. Her cheeks flushed with excitement, she accepts his silent challenge to keep pace. Raising her spirit of the sky, she proclaims, "Here I go as energy gathers." She activates her formidable defensive skill, the Shattering Emerald Wall. A surge of crystalline energy shards slices through the advancing monsters. Satu and Sina stand united, their feet crushing the debris-laden ground. They fight back to back, a flawless and lethal duo against the demonic swarm. Sina glances at him, her face a blend of resolve and admiration. Sato's expression is one of intense concentration as he moves to the beat. He thinks about the pain of causing such devastation, but duty calls. He couldn't turn down the sincere invitation from the young woman. His pride as a long-suffering salaryman is simply too strong to back down. Sina offers a small, confident smile, her eyes sparkling amid the battle. The sound of a perfectly timed attack resonates throughout the chamber. She leaps into the air, her body a spinning arc of lethal energy. She unleashes her emerald wall once more, erasing the entire wave of monsters. The stream chat buzzes, celebrating their record-breaking clear time for the second wave. The ground shakes as a massive section of the dungeon wall starts to crumble. A brilliant flash of light signals the emergence of a new, far greater threat. From above, the immense size of the new foe is revealed. The dungeon's boss bursts forth, a grotesque blend of dragon and delivery truck. A title card identifies it as the SSS rank boss monster, the Dragon Carriage Demon. The new chapter unfolds, focusing on the monster's rusted, menacing grill. Sato and Sana stand prepare, bracing for the confrontation with the colossal boss. The ruler of the lustful demon palaces is revealed to be a greedy giant dragon. The monster emits a thunderous roar, its power shaking the very atmosphere. The stone floor fractures and shatters under the immense weight of its presence. The two warriors ready themselves for the monster's inevitable charge. Its colossal wheels rip through the ground as it surges forward with impossible speed. The stream's viewers protest, deeming the boss's speed unfair. Yet, a single confident comment in the chat reassures that it will be fine. As Cena gears up to strike, viewers lament that this isn't a game anymore. As the boss unleashes a barrage of projectiles, she vows not to let them through. She shuts her eyes, her senses heightened as she anticipates the incoming attack. But Satu leaps onto the boss's head, declaring that he's far from done. He slams his bat into the creature's massive horn with crushing force. The impact sends shards of the horn flying like deadly shrapnel. The monster is briefly stunned, but Cena knows it's already recovering. She spots her chance and readies her legendary spear for a strike. She unleashes the full devastating might of her ultimate attack, Guy Bogue. The spear transforms into a streak of pure energy, piercing the monster's head. The attack lands with explosive force, obliterating the creature's skull. One watches, momentarily taken aback by the sheer power of her final strike. A torrent of black flames engulfs the area, leaving onlookers to wonder if he survived. The drones speculate that his outfit must be some unique gear for dungeons. Cena stares, utterly bewildered, struggling to grasp what just occurred. From a distance, Hikari and her drone observe, eyes wide with horror and worry. A pristine leather shoe emerges from the smoke, untouched and flawless. This figure explains with quiet passion that even the smallest things have a core. Hikari beams with joy as a generous donation praises her incredibly cool uncle. He clutches his basic metal bat, gearing up for his next action. In his stance, he channels the swirling flames toward his bat. The fire gathers into a dazzling orb. He confidently claims he can strike it. He unleashes his ultimate move, the formidable bad ball hitter. The energy projectile soars through the air with relentless force. It hurtles straight toward the massive SSS rank dungeon bus. The impact triggers a catastrophic fiery explosion. Sato and Cena stand triumphant as treasure showers down around them. The dungeon chamber is filled with the remnants of their triumph. The monstrous dragon carriage demon is completely obliterated by the blast. The creature's truck-like form crumbles under the overwhelming force. Its entire body violently breaks apart into dust and debris. Cena lands gracefully, her role in this epic battle concluded. The truck part of the boss is now nothing but a smoldering wreck. Hikari peers over a ledge, witnessing the astonishing finale. Cameraman Dan roars with pure, unfiltered excitement and approval. He pumps his fists, declaring the performance was absolutely phenomenal. Sato calmly wipes his face while Senna watches him, intrigued. Dan approaches and finally inquires about the mysterious salaryman's name. He introduces himself as K, a name Santa finds rather charming. He darkly jokes that it's like a firefly, shining briefly before fading. Cena repeats the odd explanation, trying to grasp his meaning. She gazes at him with a warm, gentle, and admiring look. Dan thanks him once more, his drone still hovering nearby. With a bright smile, Santa tells Kason it was an unforgettable experience. Satu offers a rare, small smile in acknowledgement of her words. The Shikigami drone continues filming, capturing this serene moment. The stream chat erupts, declaring it the best music video ever. Hikari is thrilled, watching her subscribers soar past 147,000 thanks to Cena's impact. From her hiding spot, she expresses gratitude to both her uncle and Cena-sama. The scene transitions to the revival point in the Shinjuku dungeon. As the group walks, Cena observes how few adventurers are present. Sadu accurately deduces that Dan hails from Kansai based on his accent. Dan thanks them for assisting in garbage collection, leaving Cena puzzled. Cena is taken aback to hear him refer to priceless treasure as garbage. She questions his choice, but he insists it's perfectly fine. Satu departs from the revival point, his duty now fulfilled. Den calls him a peculiar man. Cena can't fathom its total worth. Sato ponders how the laws governing dungeons remain ambiguous. The ownership of land and treasure in these realms is still undefined. It's a legal gray area, but loot typically belongs to the adventurers. He recalls that selling drops necessitates a proper adventurer's license. He exits the batting center, treasure bag in hand. He remembers being banned from an auction site for his attempts. He remembers a moment from the past where even minor delays are unacceptable. An older co-worker greets him nonchalantly amidst a hectic workday. He arrives at the lively JR Shinjuku station under the cover of night. His goal is the donation box meant for victims of the Labyrinth disaster. Without ceremony, he empties the entire treasure bag into the box. A wave of relief washes over him, as if he's merely paid for disposal. Hikari, utilizing her stealth, observes her uncle's peculiar action. She can't fathom why he would donate such valuable items. Two nearby women witness him and think he's discarding actual trash. They decide to report him for his apparent disrespect. One of them dials a number to report what she's seen. They identify him to others, ensuring he can't slip away. The station attendant rushes over to the scene of the disturbance. The attendant breathlessly inquires if he's the one they're talking about. The women insist the attendant catch the man before he escapes. The attendant clarifies he's not a criminal. He wants to express gratitude. He unlocks and opens the large donation box to take a look. The two accusers watch, their confidence starting to falter. He unveils a bag brimming with treasure, leaving the women stunned. The attendant beams, thankful for the generous donation he's holding. He shares that an anonymous benefactor has been donating for years. He reveals the staff's nickname for him, Garbage Bag O-Sun. The women feel deeply embarrassed for their rudeness. Hikari's heart swells with pride. Her uncle is truly remarkable. Morning breaks, ushering in a new day for the family. An exhausted Satu slumps at the table, looking completely drained. His sister Kiori notices his fatigue and inquires about his woes. Her piercing gaze presses him for the details of what transpired. He starts to recount the incident involving a sales call. He recalls the furious expression of the man from Doom production. He explains how he was falsely accused of groping on the train. He remembers the vigilante streamer who orchestrated the entire event. Hikari bursts in with coffee, attempting to interrupt the discussion. Hikari questions why she met him, sensing something is off. Hikari claims she wanted to treat him, leaving Kari feeling excluded. Saw too is puzzled, thinking his sister had made the arrangements. He inquires about their mother, who is often absent from home. Hikari admits she wanted to do something nice for him. With pleading eyes, she asks if her intentions were misguided. Her heartfelt plea leaves both Satu and her mother speechless. Kari softens but insists she should have been included. Corey's anger resurfaces, focusing on the groping allegation. Sada calmly sips his coffee, affirming the story is indeed true. Both his sister and niece explode in outrage at the injustice. Curry shouts that it's impossible, but he urges her to settle down. Hikari yells that the man who donates for years can't be a groper. Corey scolds him for sharing contacts, calling him too lenient. He reflects on how wonderful it is to have a supportive family. He smiles, knowing they trust him without needing an explanation. Hikari sits at the table, her expression serious as she gazes downward. A video of her uncle plays on her phone, streamed by the person accusing him. In a panic, she texts a friend, revealing her uncle is in danger. Maya replies with playful emojis, promising to check out the link. The next morning at breakfast, Hikari clutches her phone, vowing to safeguard him. A title panel echoes her serious vow, "I will protect my uncle." She messages Maya again, urgently pledging to do anything for her assistance. At the table, her mother, Carrie, reprimands her for using her phone during meals. Sato smiles softly, expressing envy for the fervor of youth. Hikari believes her uncle has nothing worth showcasing to the world. Out of nowhere, Satu's phone starts ringing. It's his department head. He answers with professionalism, asking if there's an emergency as his family observes. The scene briefly highlights the sign for his company, Bukinsha Shobu Publishing. His boss, looking frazzled, informs him that Katsuki from Doom Production is summoning him. Sato listens, remembering Katsuki's deceitful claim about wanting to reconcile. Hikari mutters that the whole situation feels unsettling and she despises it. Satu learns it's a directive from the company president to secure a deal. In the office, a worried Iruma questions if this qualifies as power harassment. Satu inquires if he has any right to refuse the request from his boss. She grimly explains that refusal could lead to the company's downfall. He consents to the meeting on Monday, glancing at a concerned Hikari. His phone rings again, much to his and Kaori's shared irritation. Sato muses that being popular at work is just a burden. Excusing himself, he rises from the table to answer the second call. As Hikari attempts to follow, Kaori halts her, urging her to finish her meal. Kaori places her hands on Hikari's shoulders, encouraging her to trust in Kei. Flustered, Hikari wonders what her mother could possibly mean. Sato holds the phone to his ear, listening closely to the new caller. He recognizes the voice asking what's wrong, addressing her as Shira Thomas. The scene transitions to a brightly lit restaurant's interior. A close-up reveals a large, mouth-watering burger and fries on a plate. The streamer Siren, whose real name is Siren Shiratama, apologizes for her company. One, confused, asks about Dalki, a name from his past adventures. Siren warns him to be cautious of that individual as her party listens. She explains Doom's odd, unspoken rule about forming friendships to advance. Sato questions if this is genuinely how things operate in today's world. Her teammates add that troublemakers are often lured into dungeons. They describe the toxic connection-based power dynamics within the vast company. Sato recalls the rumors about the streamer who falsely accused him of groping. Siren suggests a plan. They can feign collaboration to protect him. Hikari, eavesdropping from the doorway, feels a surge of jealousy at the thought. Sato contemplates the situation, knowing he must resolve this issue decisively. He realizes he can't jeopardize his job. He's forgotten how to write a resume. His expression hardens, having made up his mind. Siren predicts Katsuki will attempt to trick him into a dungeon as a prank. Sato calmly agrees to the plan, his face set with determination. Siren explains that a sales job is fundamentally about connecting with various people. Her party members note that although he's older, his voice can be intimidating. Sato reassures her not to worry, as this is technically during work hours. Siren tells him to use her as a contact, but requests he keep her name out of it. He grimly reflects on the harsh reality of his job. More work, less pay. Siren's companions are appalled, labeling it the darkness of contemporary times. Sato pauses, absorbing all the information he has just received. Siren inquires if he knows Sina, mentioning she would be eager to join. Sato responds that it would be ideal, his plan falling into place. She mentions that her cameraman Dan provided her with contact details. Sato consents to meet on Monday, eager to resolve matters swiftly. He disconnects the call, his expression steely as he vows to handle this traditionally. On Monday, Sato navigates the bustling concourse of Shinjuku Station. The sadistic blonde from Doom trails behind, a guitar case hiding a sword. His massive companion is present too, likely wielding a concealed hammer. Dressed in his business suit, Sato glances at his watch, almost 7 p.m. He scrutinizes his supposed bodyguards, realizing they are just a distraction. He knows the true danger lurks behind him. As if summoned, Mamoru, the disgraced streamer, appears with a smug grin. The hulking bodyguard seizes Soto's arm, halting him abruptly. Mamoru inches closer, convinced he is saw-two-cornered. While Mamoru mocks him, Sato feigns a scream of terror. The group guides Sato into a dim, isolated alley. High above, Hikari's tiny drone silently monitors the unfolding events. The drone transmits the blond man's orders to keep moving without complaints. Saw adjusts his glasses, sensing it's time to trigger the trap. The scene reveals a long, narrow alley stretching into the shadows. The chapter title page depicts the grimy alley where Sato has been taken. He realizes this is an unofficial dungeon gate, unmonitored by the guild. He comprehends that anyone entering this place will be hard to locate. Gazing up at the karaoke building, he understands their lethal intentions. A thin panel illustrates the exterior of the nondescript building. Inside, the group strides down a lengthy tiled corridor toward their goal. The blond man casts a threatening glance back at Sato. In a rundown room, Katsuki awaits, telling Sato he anticipated his arrival. He claims he will fulfill Sato's desire for a collaboration. Katsuki grandly proclaims his own livestream, a one-on-one showdown. Sato drops his briefcase, ready for the impending clash. Mamoru mocks Sato, bragging about Katsuki's impressive subscriber count. Sato coolly counters that Mamoru merely purchased his subscribers. He calmly recalls Mamoru's past scandals, deeming him pathetic. Mamoru lunges to punch him, shouting that he's not a nobody. Saw easily intercepts the punch, thinking he held back significantly. With a gentle shove, he sends the streamer crashing across the room. So through feigns, innocence shines through, questioning their cruelty. He reflects that this is ample proof of their malicious intent. He begs them to cease, asserting that violence is unjust. Katsuki approaches, telling Satu he disapproves of his attitude. He adds that Satu has a knack for getting under his skin. Mamoru, on the ground, can't fathom this is the same man from the office. Katsuki looms over Satu, his face obscured, commanding him to rise. He delivers a fierce punch, shouting for Satu to stop as his glasses fly off. Sato's glasses crash onto the tiled floor, one lens shattered. Katsuki grips Sato by his tie, declaring this feels satisfying, calling him a monster. Katsuki taunts Satu, claiming he isn't afraid and will meet his end. Satu agrees calmly. Katsuki realizes Satu is more than just a streamer and dares him to a one-on-one battle. He calls forth his legendary Sword of the Fire Spirit, its blade engulfed in mystical flames. Katsuki confronts Satu, sword poised, while his goons lurk behind Satu. Satu, visibly irritated, questions what would occur if he simply declined the duel. Katsuki yells that he'll kill Satu for daring to turn down his challenge. A protective skill activates automatically, shielding them from the chaos approaching. Sat remains unscathed in the storm, appreciating the benefits of his friendly fire protection. Soaked in disbelief, Katsuki stutters, recognizing the formidable water magic at play. Siren and her mage arrive, announcing the scene as a crime scene and revealing they have it all on tape. Siren steps into the water, lamenting the unfortunate situation. Glancing back, Siren calls out to the disgraced manager, addressing him as Kanea. Hermage unleashes the SSS-ranked megaton pump, trapping Katsuki's thugs in a swirling vortex. The room fills with a deluge of rushing water and shattered debris. A thug screams in agony as he is violently swept away by the spell. Siren's voice rings out, stating they have captured evidence of his attack on an innocent. A final splash resounds as the last of the thugs are carried away. Katsuki, defeated on the ground, accuses Siren of orchestrating this from the beginning. Satu covers his face with his hand, while Riley agrees it certainly appears that way. The flamboyant blonde man remarks that even lawless dungeons have rules against such behavior. Mamoru panics, urgently begging Siren to understand he was merely exposing a pervert. A woman's feet touch down softly in the water, declaring that his claim is also false. Mamoru recoils in shock, recognizing the unassuming woman he wrongfully accused on the train. The woman presents a card stating that the evidence is. She reveals her adventurer's license, identifying herself as the victim, Sina, the spear dancer. Katsuki, Mamoru, and their allies scream in utter disbelief at this shocking revelation. Katsuki seizes the terrified Mamoru, blaming him for the disastrous failure of their scheme. The blonde man tells Katsuki he prefers to enjoy his private time in peace. Satu sighs, reflecting on the twisted fate that has reunited him with Sina. Siren smiles, expressing gratitude to Satu for resolving matters so swiftly. Siren and Santa prepare for battle as Satu contemplates adventurers having a second avatar form. Siren's party comments on how different their adventures appear compared to their real-world selves. Satu declares it's time to dive into the main event. With a fierce roar, Satu's muscles bulge, transforming him into a powerful combat form. Katsuki's remaining thugs stare in wide-eyed terror at the sudden change. Katsuki sweats, finally grasping the dreadful truth. The suit, the muscles, could he be? Satu adjusts his glasses, confirming their fears by asking if he is Shinjuku Bat. The karaoke bar dungeon is displayed with text stating the plain old man was a hero. Satu looks down, his expression serious and resolute. He exhales softly, bracing himself for the impending fight. Ripping open his jacket, he explains that holding back is exhausting, a problem for an old man. Sina asks if Kei-san's fighting instincts surpass hers, and Siren wholeheartedly agrees. Sato clenches his fist, a dark aura swirling as he responds to the duel challenge. He stands before the remaining thugs, simply stating, "Now then." Katsuki stammers nervously, cold sweat trickling down his face. One thug apologizes profusely, claiming he never would have participated if he had known. Satu adjusts his tie, questioning if a one-on-one duel is their way of making friends. Siren's party confirms Katsuki definitely said that, while he desperately tries to deny it. Katsuki inquires about the old man's bat, and Satu replies that he doesn't require it. Cracking his knuckles, Satu asserts that his bare hands will suffice. The blonde thug steps forward, taunting Satu for his arrogance in fighting without equipment. Katsuki clicks his tongue but concedes, allowing his subordinate to take charge. Satu coolly mentions he's fine with it, suggesting all four can attack simultaneously. The blonde thug lunges forward, activating his B-rank Swift Sword ability. Sato effortlessly deflects the strike and lands a single crushing blow to the thug's face. He questions the thug's intelligence, urging him to stop talking and start fighting. With a fierce kick, Sato sends the thug hurtling across the room. The thug's face becomes a bloody mess as he crashes down, utterly defeated. The other three thugs can only gawk in sheer disbelief at their fallen comrade. Siren is taken aback, realizing he's facing a true martial arts expert. Sawtooth stands poised, calmly challenging the next opponent to step up. The thug in the leather jacket and shades approaches, acknowledging Sawtooth's strength, but he unveils his weapon, a wine bottle wrapped in intricate magical armor. Sato inspects the weapon, recognizing its ice and water attributes are effective against physical defenses. The thug boasts that neither speed nor strength will help against his weapon. "That's why I said you're too slow." He coolly reminds them he intended to take them all on at once. The thug lies vanquished on the floor while Mamoru whimpers in sheer terror. Mamoru pleads for assistance, claiming he was deceived into joining the scheme. Noticing the thug's loss of will, Sato accepts his surrender. Katsuki inquires if he's a karate master. Sato replies it's merely internal strength training. Siren's group likens his power to that of a superhero who can win with a single blow. Siren excitedly points out that this means her, Osen-sama, is the strongest. Now shirtless, Sato turns to the last standing thug. "So, what will you do now?" Katsuki roars in unbridled rage, charging forward with his flaming sword raised high. He unleashes a powerful weapon art, swinging the fire spirit sword at Sato. Burned to ashes, Katsuki screams, channeling all his power into the strike. In a move that defies reason, Sato catches the blazing blade with his bare hands. Katsuki stares in utter shock, unable to comprehend what just transpired. Siren, Sina, and the rest of their group are equally rendered speechless. The fire condenses into a harmless orb as Sato explains that fire is just untouchable heat. He elaborates, stating that giving fire a shape allows it to be grasped. Katsuki stammers, horrified that his ultimate technique has been so easily countered. Sato reveals he learned the Mawashi Yuki technique from an old manga, much to Katsuki's shock. He holds the orb of power calmly, his existence beyond comprehension for his foes. His eyes narrow as he concentrates, declaring he will draw a line. He visualizes his target just like he does at the batting center. Holding the orb, he confuses onlookers with his strange, relaxed stance. He winds up taking the classic pose of a baseball pitcher. He releases the orb at 180 kilometers per hour, a pitch from the advanced challenge course. A memory flashes of a hooded figure telling him he is needed. The fiery projectile crashes into Katsuki, his own technique turned against him. Sawtooth watches intently as his devastating attack finds its target. Sina, Siren, and their group can only stare in wide-eyed astonishment at the display of power. The spot where Katsuki stood is now empty, his avatar completely obliterated by the blast. Sato smiles gently, suggesting they should check on Katsuki at his revival point.